way I believe is something we're going to take away from New York that nobody else in the room gets to. I think a bigger lesson, a bigger thing that we get to take away is that we're going to be taking our fifth child away from New York. So. We need t-shirts that said "Made in New York." That was Nate's joke, actually. So between us.
Decided to announce that. Well, next time he's not going to find out. He'll find out with everybody else. My family does not know, so if everybody could just not put that on Facebook or anything.
We'd ask you not to put it on Facebook for two reasons. One, her mother and father know, but the rest of her family doesn't know, and they're a little dramatic. So, and two, we don't want Tracy Kaluba to find out because we don't want to raise any more money. So anyway, yes, what did we learn while we were here? Since we've been here, I think from Emily's side, she would say that she's just really the biggest thing she's talked about with me, and she mentioned with Jeff in our exit interview, was just learning cues from our children. I shared with a group when we had the meeting with one of the initials that we have, the acronyms that we have to follow here, GYFM, thank you. That when my child was 4 and we were church planning, we had people over to our house a lot, and we had not really thought about boundaries very well, and so we had people in our home again for like the 100th time, the same people that had come in, they loved, my children loved them, they loved my children, but for some reason they opened the door one day, came in, and Annalise did that Dumb and Dumber sound, what's the most annoying sound in the world? She literally just looked at the two people walking the door and went, this is loud, and we're just staring going, what in the world is that? And so, but she's been normal for years now, and so as we've been here though, we've watched them kind of show us cues that we haven't been recognizing, haven't been paying attention to. Ava looked at Emily the other day and said, I'm really sad I didn't get to say goodbye to You didn't get to say goodbye to our home. She thought we were here and that we already left the mission field and didn't realize we were going back home before we went to the mission field. And we're like, are we talking to our children at all? Are we communicating anything to them? And then Annalise has just been acting out. She's just had little dramatic things in her class and in other places. And we just realized sometimes you can just get busy and you just think it's discipline issues. I just need to go discipline them harder or correct them more. And we realize that they're facing some of the emotions. So one of the big things we've learned listening to some of the discussions, talking to the guy from GYFM, and just watching our children is that we just learned we've got to take a more concerted effort in noticing cues and signs with our children. So that, for us, honestly, I think that's one of the biggest things we'll take away because we feel that's going to be the most important ministry we face on the field is in our home. And so that's one of our big takeaways. That would be Emily's and mine, but she's communicated that most clearly. For me, we had a bit of a contrast. I'm really embarrassed to tell this part of the story. Emily's parents are going to come yesterday to stay for the rest of this week, and they just have wanted to come to New York for years. They talked about it, and since we were here, it's cheaper to get us here this way. And so they want to spend a few days. So yesterday we moved from our place on the Upper West Side to Park Avenue, and that was just a real contrast. I woke up this morning a little chilly, which is new in my bed. A very comfortable bed that I slept very well on last night, which was very different. I felt clean when I woke up. I got done yesterday with class, got back to the room, and I'm like, I'm just going to shower. I felt like I had sweat from the time I got here until today. And so yesterday we didn't take any subways. Our parents are not getting on the subway because actually our father's biggest memory when he worked here in the early part of his career was getting trapped on the subway in a white leisure suit. Subway. And so I don't take subways, so I don't have to do the sauna that is our subways. And so I literally last night put on jeans and like a little roll-up shirt, sleeve shirt, and didn't sweat at all yesterday evening. And I just kind of thought that was funny. Just as I was thinking about, I think the big takeaway for me is the struggle that we faced. I'm not going to use the word. I'm not even going to come near the word suffering. Just some struggles of transporting 4 children, an hour one way and then an hour back, and working with the schedules and trying to keep everything in play and get nap times and respect the needs of our children and try to have some time to communicate as a couple, dealing with ministry responsibilities and then typing things up in the evening when we actually just want to go to sleep and then not not sleeping well and being hot all the time. And I was thinking about that, and then getting to Park Avenue last night and realizing that this morning we woke up and then we got on the subway. She's like, I don't think we would have respected this trip if we hadn't been on the other side of town, because we got on the subway at 59th and Lexington and went one stop to Queensboro Plaza. It was just like one trip to here. It was one block to the subway walk, and then one train stop to here, which was, we used to do 2 trains. Jack got off and said, "Was that all we're going, Mommy? Where's the other train?" And so we realized that she said we'd have never appreciated this train if we hadn't been doing what we've been doing all month. And for me, that was a statement to me that, you know, when the apostles were abused and beaten in chapter 5 of Acts, their statement was they considered it a blessing that they were kind of worthy to suffer for Christ. And I found that I don't think I've ever learned anything unless I've learned it through struggle. And as I'm walking down the streets of Park Avenue, this is an entirely judgmental statement, so just forgive me for it. But I have not had one person look me in the face, one person talk to me. Our children have been just doted on by everybody in New York, but they have not even, my children, Jackson, Matthew's just running down the road like this on Park Avenue, and these people are just walking by and just looking like that. And then we were eating dinner last night, and I accidentally bumped my chair against the lady behind me. She just turned around, looked at me, and went, just turned back around. What was that? I'm sorry. I realized that the struggles we face is really God's blessing to us. The things that we're about to encounter, the things we face this month, or the things the Lord has provided to us for our good and for our sanctification. And it's a blessing to be able to go and do what we do. People are always telling us, and Peter at the Greek church has been telling us over and over again how much of a blessing it is for us to go. And I mean, how much of a sacrifice it is for us to go. And I just find myself uncomfortable with that language, because I genuinely feel like and we have to be reminded again and again. Paul says it in Ephesians and Philippians, Colossians, 1 Thessalonians, and 1 Timothy, that to walk in a manner worthy of your calling. And according to the apostles in chapter 5, the blessing was to be